Hi everyone, hope you're doing great. I'm here today to talk about book number 3 in the Mackenzie Brothers series by Jennifer Ashley. Today we're talking about the many sins of Lord Cameron. Now, Cameron is the second oldest Mackenzie brother. As you know from my previous videos, I was looking forward to his book because I was feeling a bit torn between Mac and Cam, and I was curious to get to know Cameron better and see which brother I like after all. And I will tell you towards the end of the book because now I did make my choice. And I'm really curious what you think, which brother you like most out of all 4 Mackenzie brothers. So what do we know about Cameron? He is just 2 years younger than Hart. He is 8 years older than Ian and 5 years older than Mac. So at the start of Ian's book, Cameron is about 35, if my math is correct. And at the start of his book, he's about 36, 37. Now, Lord Cameron is known as the black sheep of the Mackenzie family. And actually, I'm not sure why he's the black sheep. All Mackenzie brothers are known as those hard men, not to be reckoned with, not to be involved with. Why is Cameron the black sheep of the family? That makes me wonder. Now, what else do we know about Cameron? He is a horseman. He loves horses. He trains horses. He's really good with horses. He's skilled, and he trains horses to compete in races. And let me read this quote about Lord Cameron. Hard and unpredictable was Lord Cameron, a new mistress every few months, ruthless when it came to winning races, and fiercely protective of his horses and his son. Horses and women, should heard someone say about him. That's all he cares about, in that order. So as you can see, he is really into horses, and he has a son. His son is around 16, 17 by the time of Cameron's book. The son's name is Daniel, and Daniel's mother died when Daniel was just a baby, and that is actually Cameron's dark background. Everyone accuses him of killing his wife, but did he kill her? Did he not kill her? That is for you to find out if you read that book. But the fact is, Cameron's wife passed away when Daniel was just a baby, and Cameron has scars on his body. Where did those scars come from? Again, that's for you to find out when you read the book, but what we don't see is the scars on his soul. Throughout the book, we actually get to know that he's very troubled, very tortured, and all for good reason. It was good to learn that about Cameron. However, I was a bit disappointed because from the previous book, specifically from Ian's book, I thought that Cam was this funny, witty man, and turns out no. Actually, throughout his book, I don't think Cameron cracked a single joke. So he kind of is not what I expected him to be as I got to know him, but still an interesting character. What else do we know about Cameron? He collects erotic books and pictures. Make of that whatever you will. Now, a brief summary of the book. I'll try to avoid spoilers, but I feel like they are unavoidable, so be warned. So what happens is 6 years ago, Cameron catches Ainsley in his bedroom, and Ainsley is actually there to retrieve a piece of jewelry for her friend, and Cameron thinks she's in his bedroom because she wants to get intimate with him because he's used to women trying to get in his bed, and he ends up kissing her, and apparently they both enjoy it a lot, but Ainsley pushes him away, and she's like, I'm married, I'm going to stay loyal to my husband, I cannot do this even if I want to, and she leaves. And Cameron actually respects the hell out of her for doing that, because he's used to women who are married and still there seeking to sleep with Cameron. So when he encounters a woman who's like, nope, I'm married, I cannot do this to my husband, he respects that. Now, what I did not like is that it was a bit typical of historical romance, how Ainsley basically fell in lust with Cameron right away, and their first meeting left an impression on both of them for no good reason. It was just lust. They wanted each other, they couldn't get what they wanted, and then they couldn't forget each other. Now, fast forward to the start of the book. Cameron finds Ainsley in his bedroom once again. Except this time she's a widow. Her husband passed away, and she's pretty much free to do as she likes. Now, Ainsley also carries a secret in the past. For example, why did young Ainsley marry a man who was basically 3 times her age? There's gotta be some scandal involved in that. Because Ainsley is such a good girl. She works for the Queen. In fact, she's one of the Queen's most trusted ladies. So the Queen actually relies on Ainsley quite a bit. Throughout the book, we get to look into Ainsley's past and we learn her secrets as well. Now, so far, every Mackenzie brother has some sort of suspense happening in the story, something they have to solve. And this book has to do with blackmailing, and honestly, it was not as good as the previous 2 books. That suspense theme in the book, I didn't like it as much. It wasn't as complex. It was pretty easily resolved. And Ainsley and Cameron even made peace with the people who were blackmailing them. And I was like, what? That simple? I don't know. I wasn't satisfied with that. Now, aside from that blackmailing plot, Ainsley and Cameron are kind of working their way together. Cameron decides that he actually wants to keep Ainsley. He wants to marry her. So they actually do get married. And then Cameron kind of has to fight his own inner demons, because, for example, he won't sleep with Ainsley in the same bed. He will make love to her and then he will leave to his own bedroom, and that's a problem for Ainsley because she's already falling in love. She wants Cameron to open up to her, to trust her, to allow himself to be vulnerable. So that's an issue that Cameron and Ainsley are facing, and yeah, those are the demons that Cameron was overcoming. He is one of those tortured heroes, and of course at the end he does overcome those issues. Everyone is happy. What else do we know about Cameron? Well, what I really liked about him is actually his relationship with his son. Cameron thinks he's a bad father. He kind of has no clue what he's doing with his son, and he's so grateful that he has his brothers and then later on his sisters-in-law who help him raise Daniel. And among all of them, Daniel actually grows up to be a good man, and Cameron is quite proud of him. He loves him to death. He's very overprotective of him. And it's actually a really beautiful son and father relationship because we get to see that Cameron he actually views Daniel as his own separate person. He's not trying to mold Daniel into something. He's not trying to control Daniel. He kind of pretty much respects Daniel's wishes and Daniel's independence. And honestly, I enjoyed that quite a bit. Let's talk about steam level in this book. I found it not quite as high as in the previous books. I believe Mac's story was the spiciest. You could practically feel the chemistry, the passion between Isabella and Mac. This book, of course, it has quite a few steamy scenes. I think Jennifer Ashley is quite good at writing steamy scenes, but this one wasn't as satisfying in my opinion. Another thing I didn't quite grasp, Cameron felt that Ainsley isn't like any woman he's met before and she's so special, but I don't understand how. What is it that makes her different? Is it just the fact that she doesn't want his money? She actually sees him as a person. Is that it? So in that regard, I just didn't feel that love growing between the characters, between Cameron and Ainsley. I just kind of feel like I didn't get enough, and I'm not convinced in their love story. And maybe that's what's lacking in this book for me, and that's part of the reason I gave it 4 stars instead of 5 stars like I did with previous books. Honestly, still a good book. I am still very much invested into the Mackenzie Brothers series. Now, I know for a fact that if I have to choose a Mackenzie brother, it's definitely Mac. In fact, reading Cam's story and getting to see a bit more of Mac, who is now, by the way, a father of 2 kids. Well, one is adopted, one is his biological one, and a baby on the way. And it's just so cute to see Mac as a father and just get to see more of him. And in this book, I'm now convinced that Mac is the funny, cheerful one in the family, and if I have to choose between Mac and Cam, I choose Mac. What about you? Which Mackenzie brother do you like? Now, I'm looking forward to Heart's story. In this book, we do get a little bit of a preview to what's to come. In fact, in this book, at the end of this book, Hart announces that he's possibly maybe ready to take a wife. So I guess in his book, we will see him looking for a wife. I haven't started that book yet. It's on my to be read list. If you read it, what did you think about Hart's story? What did you think about Cameron's story? And again, which Mackenzie brother is your favorite? Let me know. If there is a different book you want me to review later on, please give me the book title, the author. I would love to read more historical romance. If you love historical romance books, make sure to subscribe so we can talk about them. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I hope you have an amazing day.